Alrighty. Hopefully everything worked and everything's all cool and nothing went wrong. Hopefully we're gonna get through the rest of the prologue. I don't know how long it's gonna be. Man, I wish I remembered. I should have checked that. Damn, I don't. Anyway. Let's do it to it, guys. It's called D-Day, so I might as Sakura, how are things? Yes, it's okay. I'm doing fine. Shit. Hit buttons. There. I see. Well, if Shinji does something again, tell me. He doesn't know when to stop, so it'll only get worse if you don't say anything. It's fine. You don't need to worry, Senpai. Nissan has been kind recently. She says that with such a smile, I can't really say anything else. I bid her goodbye once more and turn my back on the familiar junior. The day ends. Students leave the classroom and the building gets darker by the second. The sun will set soon. When the red sun sets and the night falls, there should be no one left in the school. Let's begin, Archer. First, we need to check the bounded field. Once we figure out what kind of bounded field it is, we'll decide whether to eliminate it or leave it. I address my invisible partner. Archer must understand as I sense him nodding. A bounded field is something that protects its caster. You could call it a geographical magic in which one hits a line of magic across a lane to change the interior. Infinite different effects are possible within a bounded field. There are all sorts of bounded fields, from ones that conceal the area from people's eyes to one that limit the use of magic within them. The most aggressive of all are those that oppress life forms within them. The bounded field laid out over our school is of that kind. It is not yet complete, but once it is, everyone in the school should fall unconscious. But something like this won't affect me. After all, the bounded field is something targeted not at me, but at the place I'm in. Such an indirect magical energy intervention has no effect on mages, who have magical energy throughout their bodies. A weak current flowing through the air will only be repelled by a strong current like myself. So this bounded field has a different intention. I don't know what kind of person set up this bounded field, but this intention is not to defeat a master. It's hard to believe, but its target is everyone in the school. There's only one reason to do something like that. Unbelievably, this guy is... Ah, man. Han, I wish you were here. You're about to see something real cool. But we have something to talk about once... Anyway, I search the school building and emerge onto the rooftop to finish. It's dark outside. It's 8 o'clock now, way past the school closing time, which is 6. The only people in the school are me and Archer. So, this makes 7. Well, looks like this is the origin. Evil looking thing. An H-stroke mark is openly drawn on the rooftop. The purplish red character is only visible to mages. Is something I have never seen before, engraved with something unknown. Damn it, this isn't something I can handle. The person who has set up this bounded field doesn't think about anything. He didn't think. The bounded field is bound with amazing skill. I can temporarily drain magical energy from this bounded field, but I cannot eliminate the bounded field itself. The bounded field can be reactivated just by having a caster put more magical energy into it again. Archer says nothing. He's been quiet ever since we came out to the rooftop, probably because he also recognizes the power of the bounded field. This bounded field doesn't just drain one's strength. Once activated, it will literally dissolve all the people within it. There are bounded fields that drain physical and mental strength from people within them, but the bounded field laid out over the school is on a completely different level. This is a soul eater. It is a blood fort that dissolves people within it and claims the souls that seek them. Since ancient times, souls have been hard to handle. Even though they're believed to exist and are necessary for magic, only one mage has ever understood the soul. Souls are things to be investigated or things to be moved into containers. It's incomprehensible not merely to suck them out, but also to collect them into a single place. It's because a mage has no use for them, even if one were to collect this unconvertible energy. So if there's a reason, it must be... Archer, are you servants? This kind of creature? I asked coldly. It is as you suspect. I told you we are basically spirits. Therefore, our meals consist of souls and mental constituents. As you subsist on meat, we subsist on souls and minds. Our basic abilities do not change from such nourishment, but we do become tougher. In other words, our magical energy capacity increases. Yes. To strengthen you, servant, you must attack people indiscriminately. So the magical energy the master provides isn't enough? It's not that, but it doesn't hurt to have more. In war, if you lack strength, you make for upgrades and supplies, right? It's a basic tactic for a master to steal energy from the people around them. In that regards, this battlefield is very efficient. Archer is saying that if I want to win, I should kill people and steal their strength. How simple. I already knew that. That's why I think I know which path I am going to choose. That annoys me. Don't mention it again, Archer. I say so while staring at the mark. For some reason, Archer sounds happy as he confidently answers. I feel the same way. I do not intend to do so either. Well, let's erase this. It's meaningless, but it should hinder them a bit. I approached the mark and extended my left arm. The magic crest on my left arm is the Book of Magic passed down the Tosaka family. I switch on my sense. I push magical energy into my magic crest, free the part that explains the elimination of battlefields, and now all I have to do is activate it. Absorb. Bindenode. Mittelstand. Eliminate. Surgical extraction. Second section. I touch the surface with my left hand and let my magical energy flow out. This will at least wash the color off this mark, but... What, you're going to erase? What, you're gonna erase it? What a waste. Suddenly, as if to stop the erasure of my battlefield, a voice echoes over. I quickly stand up and turn around. Action shot. Woo, wah. Blue guy. Whoa. On top of the water tower. In the sky 10 meters away, this guy is looking down at me. Deep ultramarine that melts into the night. His grin is wide, and a bestial smell carries on the wind. The stare of the beast is a cool one. The man in blue looks at me like an old friend, even in this situation. Is this your doing? Nah. Petty tricks are the mage's job. We only fight as we are commanded to. Isn't that right, you over there? Ah. Casual, but his voice is filled with murderous intent. This guy can see Archer. As I thought, a servant. That's right. Since you can tell, I consider you my enemy, right? My spine freezes. A normal light tone of voice. And it's colder than anything I've ever heard. Scary enough to make me vomit. I can't tell how I should move or what my best course is, but my reason is telling me absolutely not to fight this man right here. Wow, that's pretty good. You seem like you don't know anything, but you grasp the important parts. Man, I messed up. I shouldn't have called that to you just for fun. The man raises his arm. It happens in an instant. The arm that held nothing until now. It's red. Now holds a red weapon, 2 meters long. Ah! I jump to the side without thinking. I can't spare the time to consider that I can't jump full force on the rooftop. I just jump with full force to the side as if trying to smash the fence. A whirlwind brushes past my hair. Barely made it. He rushed at me in an eye blink and mercilessly slashed at the space I just occupied. Ah, you got some good legs, young lady. The blue whirlwind pursues me. There are no escapes. The fence is behind me, to my sides. No, I won't make it. Ist klein. My response is fast. I run the magic crest on my left arm and assemble the magic in a single measure. It lines my body and adjusts with gravity. In this instance, my body becomes light as a feather, and I leap. Ren! I know, let me handle it. I jump over the fence and fall from the rooftop. The wind and pressure push against my body. 15 meters to the ground. 0.7 seconds to landing. No, it's too slow. We'll catch up. Fox got Atlas. Archer, take care of the landing. I let Archer take the impact of the landing and start to run as soon as my feet touch the ground. First, I have to change the location. We have to go somewhere we can move around freely and not a small place like a rooftop. We have to move to a large field with no obstacles to play to Archer's and mine's strengths. I run from the rooftop to the school ground in less than 7 seconds. It's more than 100 meters. My speed is so fast that normal people would only see a blur. But that's... Man, those are really good legs. It'd be a waste to kill you here. Meaningless against a servant. Archer? At the moment I step back, Archer steps in front, taking form. A cloudy night. In Archer's hand is a short sword that reflects the weak moonlight. Wow. The man crooks his mouth. That's good. That's the way to go. I don't mind people who are quick on the uptake. A large whirlwind. That's the weapon swung at me at the rooftop. The blood-red crimson lance that tried to mercilessly slaughter me. Servant. Lancer. Oh, shit. Servant. Lancer. That's right. And your servant is Saber. Or maybe not. Who the hell are you? There's no sign of his previous casual demeanor. In response to Lancer, full of murderous intent, Archer remains silent. The distance between the two is about 5 meters. The weapon in Lancer's hand is about 2 meters. For that man with the bestial smell, I feel like the remaining 3 meters are meaningless. You're not the type to engage on one-on-one combat, so you must be Archer. Archer doesn't respond to the sneering voice either. Confronting each other, strangely, are red and blue. The two counterfeit-colored knights are already watching the other's clinching blow. Alright, I don't like it, but now we've met. We just have to fight. Come on, take out your bow, Archer. I have some manners, so I'll at least wait for that. Archer does not respond. There's nothing to say to an enemy he must defeat. That steel back of his seems to declare so. That makes me realize. I'm being stupid. Archer's waiting for my word, my command. Archer? I talk to his back without approaching him. I won't help you. Show me your powers here. Was that a laugh? He grins as if to answer my words, and the Red Knight dashes forward. Twirling gusts of wind. Short sword in hand, the red bullet launches. You fool! What meets him is a blue spear thrust. If the dashing archer is a raging wind, the responding spearhead is a divine wind. Sword is swung, and a swing to deflect the thrust. There. Archer parries the thrust of the high-speed lance with his short sword. The one in red stops. The enemy did not permit Archer's rush. The enemy doesn't even let him get within 2 meters, the range of the spear. For a long weapon, distance is always preferred. As Lancer has a weapon almost 2 meters long, he only needs to attack when the enemy comes into his range. Thrusting at an approaching enemy is easier than moving at yourself. But even so, Lancer closes the distance himself and doesn't even allow Archer to move forward. Idiot. A mere bowman challenging a close-range fight? His temper is like a burning fire. Lancer closes in with each blow, and no thought of stopping. With a long weapon, it's suicidal to close in into an enemy. The spearman's tactic is to use their long range to defeat the enemy and win the battle. So as Lancer is just advancing unchecked, he doesn't have a chance of winning. No way. That's just by the book. Lancer's lance shows that no vulnerabilities and strikes for the throat, shoulders, forehead, and heart. Thrusts so fast, even the after images are blurred. As each strike of his lance repels, rebuffs, and pushes back, Archer is any one of his thrusts could be called the final blow. But even as a bowman, Archer is a servant. No ordinary attack can be a final blow. Ah! Having repelled the lance aimed at his forehead, Archer closes in with the speed superior to Lancer's lance. Based on its shape, you might think that the main attack of the lance is a thrust, but the basic strength of a lance is in its swings. This is because a wide swing using its long range does not allow the enemy to dodge it by stepping back. A partial retreat does not allow escape, and an attempt to counterattack will only result in a slashed stomach. But simply going forward will end up with a smashed rib from the long shaft of the lance. Archer and Lancer are similarly built. On top of that, it's hard for Archer, with no heavy armor, to step into range of a lance swing like a whirlwind. But thrusts are a different story. A blazing fast thrust, certain to strike you, is certainly scary. But as long as the attack targets a point, there are many ways to avoid it once you see it. As Archer did just that, hitting the shaft of the approaching lance to redirect it slightly creates an opening. It must be because he underestimated a bowman. The advantage of a long weapon is the length and freedom of its range. Once Lancer has discarded these advantages himself, his defeat is... The one in red stops. A nightmare like time is reversing. The thrust is faster than the previous ones. Ugh. Archer tries to parry the blow, but he gets flicked away, along with his weapon. There are no openings in Lance's attack. No, not just that. The thrusts increase in speed and power without limit, and it becomes a final blow even for a servant. We were the ones that underestimated him. For that servant, for Lance's weapon, there are no general rules about lances. Who could ever parry continuous attacks without even space to breathe between them? Archer manages to retreat a bit and parries, and as a result the distance between them opens a little bit. That distance. Lancer uses that distance as a runaway to launch an even more powerful attack. The raging continuous attack only a repetition of that, but the blows themselves are godlike. 10 blows already. No, it must actually be many times more than that. The heavy rain of Lance pours yet more strength, trying to skewer Archer to death. It's not fast, but it's just skill. The thrusts like a waterfall, with no change in speed. What can Archer do now at the defensive? With such a short sword, he can only parry the lance. He has no way to close on Lancer, and he continues to retreat. The vacuum of steel unfolds. Support. I have to back Archer up. My throat won't respond. My magic has pouring. Unless Archer gets far away from Lancer, I'll hit him with my magic as well. Such an opening would only increase Lancer's advantage. And besides, frankly, I'm captivated. This is a battle between servants. This is the Holy Grail War itself, where we use heroic spirits, the highest rank of familiar, whom we would never otherwise obtain. Servants. Familiars of different classes that obey the seven masters. These are the highest ranked familiars, called heroic spirits, the Holy Grail summons. So it's misleading to call them familiars. Originally, familiars were just beings that ran errands for the mage. Imagine perhaps a cat in boots, or a cute white bird, or a black dog that doesn't obey its master, something like that. Familiars that a mere mage can summon are of that level. Familiars are just familiars. They are only mascots that run errands for their masters, so they cannot be beings stronger than their masters. But servants are different. They are the most powerful beings. Even for sorcerers, of which there are only 5 in this world, it would probably be impossible to form a contract with them. It's not that the summoning is hard, or even the ability of the servant surpasses that of the mage. Servants themselves are beings above magic. Savory. I'll make it clear. Servants are heroes from the past. Myth, legend, fable, history. Fiction or not, the superhuman beings who gained concrete existence in folklore are what we call heroes. Hydration break. Had to get a fresh one from the fridge. A hero that becomes eternal in people's minds is no longer human after their death, and is promoted to another form of existence. Humans who bring about miracles, save people, and achieve great deeds are called heroes even after their death. After being so called, they are promoted to heroic spirits rather after death and become guardians of humanity. It doesn't matter whether these people exist in a reality or only in stories. It is people's minds that create a hero. People's wishes that this is how things should be give them form and set them up as real. Authenticity does not matter. They can have form as long as they have fame as a legend and people have faith. The ultimate ideal humans have created, the greatest human possible people have created. These are the heroes, the heroic spirits. And of course, since they are beyond human, they cannot be controlled by humans. A mage usually borrows their power only to mimic them. They can't summon the heroic spirits themselves. But the Holy Grail made that impossibility into reality. It summons the heroic spirit beyond human control and turns it into a familiar obedient to the master. That nonsense is proof the Holy Grail is almighty. And with the passing of years ignored, the heroic spirits are summoned. The most recent from 100 years ago, the oldest from the ancient days. The 7 heroic spirits obey each of the 7 masters, protect them, and eliminate the masters of the enemy. Heroes from every age and country are revived into the present day to kill one another for supremacy. That is why this ritual is called the Holy Grail War. But it seems the Holy Grail has its limits too. Even the Holy Grail cannot indiscriminately call into the spirit-like beings. Just as form invented by humans is required for the imaginary 6th element, known as the devil, to take form, the heroic spirits also need a form to live in this world. That form is their temporary name, the way they exist in this world. The Holy Grail has furnished classes so that the heroic spirits may take form more easily, and it only summons the heroic spirits that match these classes. It's like a passport to the present as it sets up a whole role familiar in advance. And by allowing the summoned heroic spirits to take on that role, it helps the spirit to take form. If there are 7 masters chosen by the Holy Grail, there are also 7 servants obeying those masters. There are 7 furnished classes. No, there aren't. Knight of the Sword, Saber. Knight of the Lance, Lancer. Knight of the Bow, Archer. Mounted Soldier, Rider. Mage, Caster. Silent Killer, Assassin. Mad Warrior, Berserker. Only the heroic spirits with attributes of these classes are summoned to the present to obey the master and become a servant. That is the servant system. A summoning and contract with the heroic spirit is beyond human control, to win the miracle beyond human grasp. The ultimate competition held only on this ground, the one and only Holy Grail War. A loud crash. The short sword that deflected Lance's lance flies from Archer's hand. This is Lancer's technique, a straight thrust that turns into a sweep at Archer's wrist. It was a blow Archer could not avoid, even had he seen it coming. There is no effective way of parrying a lance with a sword. A strong rebuff only results in a stronger counterattack, and a weak rebuff does not create any openings. The important aspect of the battle between a sword and a lance lies in defeating the enemy when he is at the wrong range. Idiot. There's no hesitation in Lancer. This movement to push Archer back stops. He must intend to end the match in a single instant. The stares of the firmly placed Lancer and the swordless Archer clash. In that instant, the lance is thrust just like a flash of light. It can't even be seen. Forehead, neck, and heart. 3 shots are launched, any one a fatal blow. But the flash too fast to see is repelled by a shining blade. In Archer's hand is the short sword again. A sword like before, a Chinese sword like a hatchet. But the biggest difference is... crap. 2 swords. Pair of swords. In his hands are matched swords, mirror images of each other. A bowman trying to be a swordsman. Lancer's lance flies. As if to finish Archer off, the lance moves faster and faster. Archer defends with a burning spirit. His hawk-like eyes say that he will not retreat anymore. No, that he will only advance from now on. The clashing sounds are like a well-orchestrated movement. Two steels clashing against each other. The sparking clashes increase in rhythm without pause. The battle of the two is like a vacuum. It sucks in air around them. It seems like anything approaching them will be cut to pieces. In reality, it only lasts an instant. But for me, looking on, it seems to take an infinitely long time. Lancer tries not to let Archer near him, while Archer advances using his swords as a shield. Over 100 blows must have been thrown, and Archer loses his sword every time. But it's only for a moment, as Archer has a sword in his hand in the next instant, forcing Lancer back a little each time. Lancer finally admits his carelessness, that even though he doesn't know who he is before him, he will be the loser if he dismisses him as a mere bowman. The distance widens. Probably to recover, Lancer puts a large distance between them. His speed is extraordinary. Archer's charge was out of this world, but it was still slow compared to Lancer. The movement of his retreat had panther-like speed and agility. 27. I've disarmed you that many times, yet you still have more, Lancer mutters in irritation. No, it's more like confusion. I feel the same. According to Father, the servant carries only one weapon, also a lie. Their weapon is filled with magical energy, so it's not something they can just be created one after another, like Archer was just doing. Servants are heroes that sublimate their spirits after death, equaling the holy spirits. Put in another way, they are like devils or angels. They are powerful familiars on their own, but their most powerful weapon is their proof of heroism, a magical item called their noble phantasm. A noble phantasm is a weapon or armor the servant used when they were a hero, and is treated like a last resort. The noble phantasm is the one and only weapon for a servant. This is because the noble phantasm is an ultimate weapon without equal. The lance that Lancer is using will show its power as a noble phantasm when Lancer deems it necessary. A noble phantasm is an impressive weapon by itself, but its true ability is to release all its power using its true name. Heroes' weapons, which rule over all others, and which have killed dragons and gods. Servants activate the noble phantasms using their magical energy. It's much like magic. Servants recreate the destructions in legend using their noble phantasm as their catalyst. Noble phantasms are never disposable. The swords that Archer brought out must be excellent, but they cannot be his noble phantasm. He is the servant Archer, so the noble phantasm he conceals must be a bow. What's wrong, Lancer? It's not like you to just stand there and watch. Where's the energy you just had now? You're talking crap, you cheater! Lancer's irritation is understandable. Even though Lancer fought as a spearman, Archer fended him off as a swordsman, which means Archer hasn't shown any of his abilities yet, so it's natural for Lancer to feel ghastly. Alright then, I'll ask you, who are you? I've never heard of a bowman using two swords. On the other hand, it's easier to tell who you are. It's said that only the fastest heroes are chosen as the Lancer, but you surpass even that. There aren't 3 Lancers in the world at your level, and on top of that, there is only one with such beast-like agility. First name Mario, last name Mario. Oh, well said, Archer. At that instant, his vast murderous intent makes me forget to breathe. Lancer's arm moves. This is different from before, a stance free from contempt. The spearhead is lowered as if to strike the ground, and only his stare pierces Archer. In that case, you shall face my finishing blow. I won't stop you. You're an enemy I will have to defeat sooner or later. Lancer's body sinks down. At the same time, a chill like thorns fills the schoolyard. The air freezes. Not a metaphor, it literally freezes. All the mana in the air is frozen. The only person allowed to breathe here is the warrior called Lancer. The lance in Lancer's hands is unmistakably a demonic one, and now it is waiting to take its true form in the moment it strikes. Crap! He'll be beaten. I don't know what kind of noble phantasm it is, but Archer will be beaten. It's implausible since it's the first time I felt such an intuition, but there's no doubt about it. Archer will die when the lance is thrust. is determined. Literally, Lancer's lance is the embodiment of inescapable death. Oh. Archer will be defeated. Archer will die when Lancer pierces his heart. And yet, even though I know that's going to happen, I can't even help him. Because if I move even a finger, that will trigger the attack. So if anything can stop this battle and stop Archer's defeat, it would be... Who's there? It would be the chance appearance of a stranger we have all overlooked. Huh? The ghastly air coming from Lancer disappears. The sound of fleeting footsteps. That figure is definitely wearing a school uniform. A student? Someone was still here? It seems so. He did save our lives, though. Archer says calmly. Well, we were certainly saved, but... My mistake. I didn't notice my surroundings because I was preoccupied with Lancer. Oh, shit. My mistake. I didn't notice my surroundings because I was preoccupied with Lancer. Hey, Archer, what are you doing? Can't you see? I'm resting since I'm free now. You can't do that. What about Lancer? He went after the guy. He saw us, so Lancer probably went to kill him. For an instant, my thoughts stop. Follow him, Archer. I'll catch up right away. Archer goes after Lancer immediately. Damn, how stupid of me. I curse my carelessness. It's the rule of mages to eliminate any witnesses. Which is why if one didn't want to do that, one just had to allow no witnesses. I've done that until now, so why do I have to make a mistake today of all days? I mean, it did save you, Rin. Just putting that out there. A night where even the moonlight is obscured. A student is lying on the cold hallway floor, and Archer is standing still. He's staring silently at the student. A smell hits my nose. The blood on the floor makes it clear that it's the smell of death. Follow him, Archer. Lancer will probably go back to his master. This won't be worth it unless we at least find out what his master looks like. Archer goes after Lancer. I'm left alone with the student lying on the floor. I can't look straight at him, but I must. This is my fault. This is my fault. This is my fault. Ever since I was a child, ever since I became the successor of Dosaka, I've been preparing for something like this. There's no good or evil for mages. I've always told myself that this is the road. That this road has only my blood and the blood of others, so... One shot from Lancer's lance, huh? You can't be saved with your heart pierced. I don't know how long it's been since Lancer killed him. Was he lucky or unlucky to be pierced through the heart? I guess Lancer's attack isn't a simple external wound as the flow of blood from the ruptures isn't too severe. It's not too severe, but it's all over when the brain doesn't get any more blood. No. Basically, if his heart were pierced, he should have died instantly. But it's amazing he isn't dead yet. Yes, he's still breathing, faintly, as if to give his last scream. But that will only last a few more seconds. He can't heal his own wounds, and I don't have enough power to save him either. I have to look at his face. I should at least do that. I try to touch the head facing the ground and realize my fingertips won't move. They're trembling. I wonder why. I'm used to such things. I've had to make these kinds of choices many times before. I've lost many things due to my mistakes of my selfishness. That's why I'm ready for a day like this. So why am I so angry at myself? Sorry, I'll see you off at least. I control my trembling fingers and my falling knees with my will and look at the face of the student. A huge smacking sound. It really feels like I've been hit on the head with a hammer. Stop it. Why does it have to be you? I grit my teeth. Not to suppress my trembling. I'm really pissed off. Why is it him? Why did it have to be him? I'm not mad at Lancer for killing a witness quickly and perfectly, just as a servant should do. I'm just angry at him for staying late at this place on this day. Sakura's face flashes in my mind. She's definitely gonna cry. And I recall one red-tinted day after school a long time ago. A distant sunset, someone always running alone, and a boring girl staring from that far away. And before me, the corpse of someone who happened to get involved. There's a way. I might fail and lose my last resort in the process, but there is still a way. No, I'll lose my last resort whether I succeed or fail, so the result for me won't change. It's a mistake. The fact of his death is already determined. It's my fault for not noticing things around me. It's his fault for unluckily staying late. Guys, who could it be? So I don't need to go that far. Yes, because this is what my father, who gave me nothing else, left just for me. A powerful chunk of magical energy, a reliable last resort to win through this battle. A precious, precious thing just for me. So what, idiot? I shake the feeling off and kneel in front of the ones who will become a corpse in another second. I've done it. The pendant in my hand becomes lighter. My father's memento is drained in almost to emptiness and falls into what used to be a dying body. Well, it can't be helped. Yes, it can't be helped. Didn't have the power or skills to revive someone with a damaged heart, damaged blood vessels, and on the verge of brain death on top of that. That's why I had to make up for my lack of skill with this powerful object. It's lucky he was still breathing. If he was completely dead, no amount of magical energy would have revived him. But since he was still alive, I did what I could and ended up saving his life. It would have been awful if I failed, but since I succeeded, I guess it's alright. Yeah, I feel fulfilled to be honest, so this wasn't such a bad experience. I'm lying to myself. Let's go. What's done is done. I have to head back before he wakes up. Yeah, there's no need for me to stay here any longer. Archer should be following Lancer, so I should go home by myself. On my way back, I remember. I left the pendant at school. Just a pendant now that the magical energy has been drained out of it. Oh well. I have no more use for that pendant. Sure, it might have a bit of magical energy left in it, but surely less than the 10 jewels I have. What my father intended to leave for me was enough magical energy to win the Holy Grail War. So now without magical energy, that thing is meaningless. I enter the house without saying anything and sit on the sofa. Archer isn't back yet. I sigh and listen to the clock for a few minutes. I have to switch gears. What am I doing daydreaming after battle like that? I jump up and brew some tea. There are so many things to think about. Most importantly, the servants. I have just witnessed a battle between servants I had previously only understood intellectually. Lancer, huh? I panicked when he almost used a noble phantasm, but I would have found out his identity if he did use it. The easiest way to beat an enemy servant is to learn their identity. Ignoring, for the moment, the idiot who doesn't know his own identity, the biggest weak point of a servant is their true name. Discovering the servant's true name, in other words figuring out their identity, should let you take a guess at what kind of noble phantasm they might have. It goes without saying, but since servants are heroic spirits, they tend to have a legend associated with them. If you figure out their legend, you should be able to find out most of their abilities. Servants are called by their class names because they want to hide their true names. Because the more famous a hero is, the more people know about their weapons and their weaknesses. The heroic spirit that becomes a servant never gives out their true identity. The only ones that know the servants' identities are the masters. There's even a tacit understanding that the masters hide their servants' identities while trying to discover the identities of the others. This is the 5th Holy Grail War. The qualities of the servants are determined by the ranks of the summoned heroic spirits. It goes without saying that the more famous heroes and the heroes with better weapons are stronger. But it's difficult to summon such heroic spirits. To summon a heroic spirit, one must have a connection to them, such as a weapon they use during their lives. Even the Mages Association has few of such things, so generally, one will summon a heroic spirit that suits them like I did. A servant's strength is determined by the rank of the heroic spirit, but it's not that simple, as even the most powerful heroic spirits may have a hard time depending on the class they are assigned to. This is because of the special abilities assigned to each class, the possibility of the weak defending the strong. The 7 classes each have a different additional ability, and one even has a chance of defeating an opponent of higher rank depending on the ability's affinity. To take an example, an infamous hero has defeated a great hero 4 times in the past. As far as I know, the most powerful servant is Saber. In all the previous 4 wars, Saber has made it to the final fight. It is said that the 3 classes, Saber, Lancer, and Archer, have strong magic resistance. To put it simply, magic is basically useless against them. It's because they are fighters who fought through the Age of Myths, when magic was used widely. Magics that mages use now probably would dissipate just by touching them. Anyways, that's why these classes are considered the basics and the best. Another that's worthy of mentioning is the Servant Berserker. The heroic spirit summoned into this class loses their sanity. Just as the name implies, they become a mad warrior puppet of their master. The benefit from this is a strengthening of their power, far exceeding the powers they had when they were alive. However, the more powerful a servant becomes, the greater the burden it imposes on the master. In the past, masters who have summoned Berserker couldn't control their rampaging servant and destroyed themselves by running out of magical energy. No exceptions. The winners and losers of the Holy Grail War are largely determined by the abilities of the servants. Well, I expect there are ways to eliminate it by the master's efforts, but it's basically a fight between the servants. That is why a master should be very careful when summoning a servant. That's right, they shouldn't just do it like willy-nilly with nothing prepared. That'd be crazy. I silently consider the plans we should make from now on. The clock, fixed already, strikes 11 while doing so, and Archer comes home. Welcome back. How did it go? I'm sorry. I failed. There must be one cautious master, at the very least. Lancer's master is not on this side of town, as I expected. Lancer was alone, and it seemed his master isn't the type to show up for battles personally. I see. Well, I guess it won't be easy. Yes, there's no way everything will go as I might hope, so it can't be helped. Let's consider what happened tonight as a tuition fee for the lessons learned. You seem down, Master. Where are your high spirits? Don't tell me you got scared by that one fight. If you so order, I am ready to battle against Lancer, here and right now. Archer protests silently that we should do so. I see. I guess I look depressed. Of course not. I'm staying in only because I don't want to do anything pointless. Anything pointless? Well, all the masters aren't present yet, right? Tonight couldn't be helped. But I wouldn't start fighting before we get the signal. My father told me this is one of the rules of the Holy Grail War. I see. So your father was also a master. Archer nods understanding. Then... Archer makes a troubled face and starts to ponder something. What? Do you have something you want to say? Yeah, there's something I forgot to ask. Rin, you've been raised since you were small to be a master, and you've accepted that, right? So you've expected to be a master since the beginning. Of course. Well, there are certainly masters that are suddenly appointed, but I'm different. For the Tosaka family, the Holy Grail has been our earnest desire for many generations. I thought so. So you must have a purpose. I forgot to ask about that. I cannot swear my sword to you until I know my master's wish. So, Rin, what is your wish? Wish? I don't really have one. What? Oh, Archer's making a funny face. That can't be true. The Holy Grail is an almighty grail that grants wishes. Becoming a master means obtaining the Holy Grail, so how can you say you have no wish to grant? Archer is asking with a serious expression. Oh, I see. The master's wish, after obtaining the Holy Grail, isn't irrelevant to the servant. But it's strange. Father said that the servants have wishes as well, but that is only their wish. I don't think Archer should be concerned, because I don't have any wishes. Alright, if you have a specific wish, why not wish for something ambiguous, like ruling the world? Why? The world is already mine. Hey now, Archer. The world is just another word for the things that you value around you, right? There's something I've had since I was born. If you tell me to rule such a world, I already rule it. Archer looks at me with a troubled expression. I'm amazed. The guy really is hard-headed. Ridiculous. The Holy Grail is the power to grant wishes, a power to obtain the world, and you're saying you're seeking it, yet you don't have a wish. But really the world would be so troublesome. There's no point in wishing for something so pointless. You seem to lack imagination. I don't understand. For what then do you fight? I fight because there's a battle, Archer, and I take whatever I can get. I don't know about this Holy Grail thing, but I could just use it when I find something I want, right? As a human, there are infinite things I might want in life. So you're saying... Yes, I'm fighting to win, Archer. Archer's shoulders slump. Maybe he's disappointed in my opinions, but it seems he's finally relaxed. I give up. You're certainly a worthy master for me. Ugh. I find it hard to deal with that kind of comment, so I wish he'd stop saying shit like that. Huh. A servant has no right to choose their master, but I'll ask for the heck of it. Why am I a worthy master for you? It goes without saying, you're unmistakably the strongest master. No one will be a better master to serve you than you. Oh, thanks. It doesn't sound like flattery when you say it. I look away because I'm embarrassed. I find it hard to deal with Archer because he speaks frankly, like this, even though he's so cynical. But, well, I'm honestly happy that he trusts me. I trust Archer and he trusts me. I don't think this sense of solidarity is a bad thing. Well then, let's take a break. Even if the 7th Master is going to appear, it won't be right now. Wait a minute, Rin. What happened to the jewelry of yours? You mean fuck. You mean my pendant? Oh, I forgot it. It's out of power, so there's no use for it, right? That's true, but... Well, if you say so. Yes, it's a memento of my father, but it's not like it's my only memory of him. That's no good. You don't have to be that strong, Rin. So saying, Archer takes out the pendant I left at school. Oh, you went and picked it up for me. Don't forget it again, okay? It only looks right on you, Rin. As if he's embarrassed, Archer looks away as he hands me the pendant. They were both soon to raise. I see. Thanks. I accept it. To be honest, I don't know if I should be embarrassed or cool about it. The pendant is as it was. As expected, there is no magical energy left in it. Empty of magical energy, it's just an expensive but ordinary jewel. It doesn't hold any power. But, as Archer would put it, even if there's no power left in this pendant, it still has a meaning, as something my father specially left for me. Then, maybe I could just laugh off the fact that I helped that guy by sacrificing my jump card. Hey, wait a sec. Something clicks in my head. Well, I wasn't thinking straight back then because of my regret. But thinking about it calmly, I missed something. He saw us, so it'll be dangerous unless we adjust his memory. Basically, Lancer prioritized eliminating the witness over his battle with us. Lancer's thinking probably matches with his master's. So, if such a master finds out the guy they killed didn't die, what would he do? He wouldn't let the guy keep on living. I get up from my sofa. It's been 3 hours since then. I might not make it, but after all I did, I have to make it on time. I run through the night. Fortunately, I know where his house is. No, I didn't look it up, but it just happens that an acquaintance of mine goes there a lot, though I've never been there myself. Honestly, you're just taking on unwanted troubles. Archer has no interest in cooperating. He was against saving the guy when he was dying. He's against me going to help him right now. It's midnight. Under the cloudy night sky, we reach the Japanese-styled house. There is no sight of anyone in this house on the edge of the residential district. There aren't many houses around it, and there's no one to come and help if anything happens here. My breath is white. A wind starts to pick up. It must be quite strong as the clouds start to drift fast. The supposedly warm wind of Fuyuki sends chills down my spine, making me tremble. Even if Fuyuki City is considered warm, it's still cold on the hill. The air around here is frozen. I strain my ears in the cold atmosphere. In the frozen feeling, I smell a sense of venom. I feel a small sense of venom. Fuck! He's here. The servant from before. I bite my lip. His presence is perceptible on the other side of this wall. Lancer is in the house already and is about to kill the same guy again, who has just come home without a clue as to what happened. I'll just have to jump in and beat him, and I'll worry about what comes next when it happens. Just as I'm about to command Archer to go in. A bright white light, like a fallen sun, comes in from within the house. The presence is eclipsed by another presence. The wave of power of the servant Lancer is consumed by an even larger wave. The instantaneous explosion of ether gives the spiritual being a body, summoned to overpower Lancer. No way! I can only mutter, but it's true. To prove it, Lancer jumps over the wall and leaps away as if fleeing from this place. Hey Archer, is this another one of your hypothetical scenarios? I don't know, but this makes 7. All of the masters here are now... All the masters are here now, Ren. Archer answers calmly. I've lost my normal judgment. This is why I didn't even consider the obvious event that would follow. The wind blows strongly. Clouds cover the sky like an umbrella. The unlit suburbs are enclosed by darkness. And the servant jumps over the wall, coming down like a demonic bird. Archer has reacted already, but I couldn't react. That was my mistake. The battle ended with that small opening, not lasting even a second. It might have been only a second for me, for that servant, it was an opening that couldn't be ignored. A sword rushes forward. Huh? Archer? Archer pushes me aside, and the servant slashes him. It happens like an instant. Archer, who handled Lancer's flurry of attacks beautifully, has been taken down in one blow. Archer, disappear! But I make it in time this time. Just as the enemy servant is about to cut off Archer's head with her blade, I forcibly remove him. A pain in my right hand. It must have been an excessive command, so a command spell has disappeared from my hand. Now, there's only one remaining. But this is for the best. Rather than having an Archer die, I would prefer to lose 1 or 2 command spells. Giving no consideration to Archer's disappearance, the servant attacks me. Don't underestimate me! I take from my pocket a topaz with a min spell stored in it. Then I launch all the magical energy it contains at her without processing. The thing which can blow away a house without a trace is a bundle of wind spells I've stocked up over time. It's one of the 10 jewels I've been putting my magical energy into for 17 years without rest. I'm using all the magical energy stored in it, so even if I can't defeat her, it should at least slow her down a bit. No, not even that. It did nothing. The swirl of wind that instantly tears apart anything caught within it disappears like a magic trick the instant it touches the servant. Such a strong magic resistance. Mere magical energy from a mage cannot hurt the servant. So this is it. She can't be hurt by magic, and I've lost the protection of Archer, so I can't stop the servant. I barely managed to avoid 1 blow, but that's all. I look up at the night sky. In it is the figure of a cold-hearted death, who was looking down at me as I lay miserably on the ground. The wind blows. In between the dark clouds in the spiral sky, the moon shines. The falling moonlight and the beautiful face. This is the servant that drove off Lancer, defeated my Archer in 1 strike, and annulled my magic with no trouble. That magic was splendid, mages. The girl's voice is like a bell. Yes, this voice is like a nightmare right now. It's only natural. The more beautiful my enemy is, the more of a nightmare it is that I cannot believe the difference in her strength. But this is your end, Master of Archery. The point of the sword shines brilliant. On the verge of death, I understand. With just 1 look, without proof. This is the card I wanted. The one said to be the strongest of all servants. The hero of the sword. look up at the moon, accepting my death. There is no time for me to flee or plead for my life. I will die here, and Tosaka Rin's Holy Grail War will end on the third day. There is only disgrace and regret, and I will probably vanish bearing a grudge against my enemy. But still, I don't feel anything. Something must really be wrong with me. Even though I'm going to be killed in an instant, I adore her again. That's right. If you ask for regrets, that's it. But I guess it can't be helped. Because she's the most powerful servant. Because her figure is just so heartless, so infinitely valiant, and so beautiful. And there we go. That's the prologue done. Oh, almost exactly on time. Okay, cool. Once this fun little AMV ends, I'm gonna stick around for, if anybody's here, then cool. Feel free to submit your questions. We'll talk about it a little bit, as much as spoilers allows. But otherwise, I'm just gonna see if I have anything to rattle off in thoughts right now. Not like now, but once the thing goes over. And if that lasts the planned 30 minutes, cool. If not, otherwise, But for now, enjoy. And we're back at the title screen. Let's see. I don't know that anybody's watching this live, so. But what to talk about? That was actually like a lot of really interesting lore dropped about servants just then. Both on like their nature as like what the fuck they are, and also like how they can be handled. It's very interesting that they dropped that, like what it means to, theoretically, what it means to be a hero in this part in the prologue, because I feel like a large part of how the endings go, when you get to the end of a route, you can basically ask the real protagonist, who we kind of met a little bit, what it means to be a hero, and due to the events of the route, he'll give you 3 different answers. I for sure know one, because I finished Fate Route, which we're going to do next time, at this time. But I am very interested to see like what leads to the other ones, because it's really cool. But yeah, who was that mysterious dude who died? Who could it ever be? I mean, like, I'm saying it like weird and sarcastically, but like, if you know, you know, and if you don't know, like, there's no way you can figure out from just the prologue stuff, because there's nothing with all of the little clues there, you can't connect them. I don't think, anyway. Oh, and also don't mind the I don't know what's up with this version of Fate Stay Night, although it may just be like when I full screen it, because this is in full screen. I'm doing like screen window capture, but if you look to your left and right, you can still see the red and orange, yellow borders of like when Archer and Lancer were fighting. Whenever the screen shakes, for some reason, it just kind of leaves these weird after images. Oh man, I shouldn't have had breakfast that late, or lunch that late. I feel like I left a couple thoughts half finished, but you know what? That's a clean hour. I think that's good enough for one stream. So yeah. With that being said, I hope to see you guys next Friday, where we really start getting into the meat of things. Um, Actually, you know what? I should probably clarify this a little bit. Um, so like if you just bought the game off of like Steam or whatever, it is like a game where like each choice determines like what route you're gonna be on. There's like 3 main routes. Um, but the way that I have this, which is very legal and very much on the up and up, um, it just kind of railroads it. Like you can still choose things for like dialogue options, and especially since, hold on, yeah, you can see there's a bunch of different endings, and by endings I mean there's a bunch of different bad ends where you like die, and others. um, there's like 3 proper ends, and then like a bunch of ones where like you fucked up. In my first playthrough of the Fate route, I think I only got like 1 you fucked up. No, 2. I got 2. Although the second one was very obtuse. Oh hey. What's my favorite route to go through? Thighs are my religion? Hey, what's up, by the way? I'm gonna be really super honest with you. I've only ever really played the first route, Fate, which is the route we're gonna be doing next time. Although, if you were to ask me which one I'm like most excited to go through for, it would probably be the very last one, which is Heaven's Field. If anybody knows anything about like the different Fate media that got put out, Heaven's Field was the 3-part movie series that was done like really crazy good. I have not seen it because I knew I was going to be doing this one day, and I also have not seen Unlimited Blade Works anime for this same reason. I'm kind of cheating in that I did watch the very, very good that you should totally check out, Unlimited Blade Works Abridged, but I'm not sure that I can. I mean, they probably wouldn't mind, but for the safe side, I highly recommend you look that up. But I don't think I'm allowed to say who did it. But yeah, I really, really gonna enjoy doing this. I feel like I had a thing that I was saying and then totally forgot about it. Oh well. The basic gist is you can still go through one route and do your fuck ups, but like you're not going to diverge into other routes. So, at least carelessly anyway. So, the order of things is going to be I'm going to do Fate route until I beat it, I guess. Probably going to take like a month or 2. And then I'm going to do UBW, and then I'm going to do Heaven's Field. And that's how it's going to be. So, with that being said, I'm sorry if you just now jumped in. Thank you for all being a very patient audience. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next week. Take care.